At that point, I'm like, I want to do engineering. And I shifted my complete major. I got out of the CAD aspect of it, and I got into the engineering aspect of it.
How did that transition go? Say, hey, did you start out like a garage or your house into, hey, now you got this big building and your team, and you're ready to start, working? How do you take and learn your leadership skills and then bring them to your team? Because now you have a team. Talk to me about your ideal client. Building relationships with other architects and who you're looking for to do projects with. I'm here at Frank Sylvestro's now finished office of Sylvestro Consoli. He does engineering, a lot of different retail spaces. Thank you for having us do the construction part of it. But talk to me a little bit about your journey. Like, what got you into engineering and why you decided to go that path?
I started off doing, from high school, I was doing drafting. My dad was a drafter, I started off drafting. Then I ended up deciding to go to Camden County College to do CAD. I thought it was interesting. And at that point, I'm like, I want to do engineering. And I shifted my complete major. I got out of the CAD aspect of it, and I got into the engineering aspect of it. I was still going to school. I had to pay for school. So I was going part-time school, worked for a company, went to an engineer in Woodbury. Poor guy's gone now, but he taught me so much. And it just got my interest. And I just started from there. Went to another company, very aggressive to this point now. That had to have been, 35 years ago. And here I am.
You found your passion in engineering. You started the business. They don't really teach you the business part in school.
They do not.
They teach you the engineering part, how to get the job done. So, how did that transition go? Say, hey, did you start out like a garage or your house into, hey, now you got this big building and your team, and you're ready to start, working? Because honestly, I had no idea you had all these people working here, and it's great. I'm really excited for you.
Yes. So I started off in my house. I had a house in Blenheim, New Jersey. We started there. It was myself in a living room / office. Then I started getting more work. Let me backtrack a little bit. I was at a company for 15, 20 years. They wanted to change direction. I did retail. They were doing data centers. Did not with the data centers. I like the retail, I like the people I work with, the architects I work with. So I had a group of architects which I really had a good relationship with.
Got it.
They decided that they didn't want to do retail anymore. It wasn't there. I said, fine, I still want to. So I left. Started at my house. I was in, it was a converted living room to an office. Started there myself. Got busier and busier with the architects I developed a relationship with. It was myself, my wife, our kids, and people. I said, I can't do this anymore. Right. I said, I got to move out. So we were moving from Blenheim. We were looking for a place. I found a place in Washington Township with a walkout basement. I was able to put people down in the basement, kept it separate from my house. At that point, it worked out fine. I needed to get the people out of my house because I didn't have my house anymore. So I had a group. I had about three in my house plus me. So I'm like, all right, so we started looking for a place about 2 years ago. One place, we found this place. I have a very good friend of mine's realtor. We found this place here. Then we started the process. And then trying to find a contractor was difficult because everybody was busy.
Sure.
And then I was talking to Ravel.
Yep, Ryan Van Lees, yep.
Ryan, awesome guy. He did my data center at the basement for me, really helped me out down there because I have the same setup I have here down there. And he says, hey, why don't you go to Showcase? So I got Stan through Stan. The number was awesome. Stan's personality was phenomenal. Great. I'm telling you, it was awesome. So he and I have a great rapport. Even I think we're friends now at this point. So it's awesome. So, and that's where we are. We started the building. So November, I moved in. We got the CO in November, the day before Thanksgiving, or 2 days before I moved in, day before Thanksgiving, and here I've been. So that's how I got. This is how I got here. I had to get out of my house to get somewhere else.
I love that. So again, I started on my duplex on Jarvis Road. I actually added stairs to go to the attic because people went upstairs.
Yes.
And I hired a girl that used to work mortgages, got laid off at that time after the 2008 epidemic, where there was a big crash. She didn't have work. she was my secretary, and then eventually was my wife, and eventually I'm like, we can't have everyone coming here every week to our little 2-bedroom place on Jarvis Road, so like, we got to get a place, and that's kind of how it was like.
So kind of parallel type thing. Interesting. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's kind of cool.
So when you were telling your story, kind of gave me some reminders of where I was and where I'm going. So, talk to me about your ideal client, building relationships with, other architects and who you're looking for to do projects with.
So I have a core set of 9 architects I work with. 5 are the most rotating. I don't advertise. I had someone look for me online. They can't find me online. Not that I don't want to be online, but I don't want to be online.
Sure.
I said, I am very busy. I'm very fortunate being busy. I don't want to argue. I don't want to, tempt fate.
Sure.
But the group that I have, it's everything word of mouth.
That's great.
Everything I do, I have a good product. I have a reasonable fee, and they keep on coming back.
Sure.
I am their primary lead engineer, and I will work with them constantly. It's a constant rotation of the work. It's like, here's the next step, here's the, give me a price, give me a price, give me a price. We'll negotiate. Sometimes I'm too low. They say, hey, listen, jump it up a little bit. Hey, you're a little high, drop it back down.
Sure.
But that's the rapport I have with the architects I have.
That's great. So that's super important, especially like in the contractor field. A lot of contractors start to look up to these coaches, and they say you have to advertise, spend all your money advertising, and you have to scale your business. You have to scale your business. And I got to tell you, I totally don't agree with that at all. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. You built your business upon you doing quality work and building strong relationships.
Yes.
And those relationships came back to you, and they continue to come back to you, even tell you, hey, you're a little high or you're a little low. Make sure that you're taken care of for 2 reasons. Number one, they want to make money also.
Yeah.
Number 2, they want to keep you in business.
Yeah.
Because if they're doing this quality work and they're winning and you're winning, now you're all winning.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about.
It's a loyalty aspect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So these people that think they got to go out and constantly, get new customers, you really don't. You just find a great group of people and take care of them to the best of your ability.
Yes.
And then keep on continuing to business with that. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So your space is primarily just retail, or do you do a little things outside of retail?
I do everything. The funny part, if I actually list my resume, it'd be ridiculous. Retail is my bread and butter. We do a lot of Popeyes, Dunkin' Donuts. We were just talking. I just had a staff meeting. We do a lot of Dunkin' Donuts. I am the prototype engineer for Dunkin' Donuts out of Boston, but they hire me to do the prototype engineering work.
That's great.
So I have a bunch of franchise work with Popeyes. We do a CML. Dunkin' Donuts is a CML, Central Manufacturing Location. We're in the middle of designing that. That's in Rockaway, New Jersey. That's a 130,000 square foot kitchen that we're designing.
That's huge.
So, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's we're in the middle of design right now. Just small scale. It's a 6,000 amp, 480 volt service coming in. That's just a start.
Got it.
So it's ridiculous from the size and the capacity that this thing has. Again, that's small retail, big retail.
Sure.
A lot of apartment complexes. We're in the middle of doing 3 apartment complexes now. We have 2 more in the wing, and anywhere from 30 apartments to 150 apartments, depending on the building, and multiple architects. So
That's
not
great.
just one. So I did a couple of them working with different architects. Warehouses, a lot of flex building. There's a lot of flex warehousing happening. It's so funny how to see the trend happening.
Sure.
But we get a lot of spaces that just need a shell.
Yeah.
Then they fit it all out. So it's called a flex warehouse.
Okay.
So
I'm working on one now.
okay. Yep. So you get the concept. So we cut through. We got to kind of anticipate what's going to be, and then we end up doing the whole building, and then we get fit outs for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that'll come
Because that
through.
flex space, that obviously it could be
It's
for
called
whatever
flex.
business needs to go
Exactly.
inside,
So they kind of set it up. It's a quick little thing. They probably set up what you already aware of. Maybe 9 spaces inside this. 100,000 square foot space.
Sure.
And then they start dividing it up. Well, someone may come in and they want 5 of the spaces, 3 of the spaces, 2 of the spaces, and it changes constantly.
Right.
So and that's the warehouse aspect of it. Strip malls. We just did a major strip mall, Morristown.
So North Jersey.
Yeah, and it was 8 large buildings with probably 6 to 12 retails in each one of them.
Got it.
So we did the entire shell complex, and then we're doing some of the fit outs. And I'm working with a fire alarm contractor who got the contract there, so I do all his fit outs
That's amazing.
for the fire alarm.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So it's just
networking.
Yep,
Networking.
that's it.
Building those
Exactly.
relationships. So now that's the one part. Obviously building relationships. How do you take your skills? Again, you went to school for one thing, and then now you're running a business. How do you take learn your leadership skills and then bring them to your team? Because now you have a team.
So again, a lot of this is history. With the job I worked at before, I was telling you this one company, they were doing Google data centers. They were Google. I could say it now. I wasn't allowed to then. It was a big secret.
Oh yeah.
So Google data centers. And then I was just doing the retail. Well, what we were doing was the goal was to hire the engineers from the high-end colleges and train them in retail to be shifted over to the Google. So they had no idea. College is phenomenal, but the problem is you don't learn anything in college. You learn how to learn in college.
Right.
So, these kids are coming in here, the smartest, the brightest, the 4.0 GPA students are coming in, didn't know anything. Now I had to teach them. That was my job. So these guys came in and I taught all these guys in what we call triple threat. So it's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Got it.
So that's what we teach. And I taught it then, and I teach it here. So we were getting all those students coming in, teaching them about 6 months to 2 years, depending on the student itself. I call them students still because we're still out of college.
Sure.
And I just trained them. So I took that, I put it here. So my guys here, I pull them and I train them.
That's right.
The skill they learn here, it's a triple threat. They don't learn this anywhere else. You don't get this set at any other engineering firm or anything else. It's like they come in and I teach them mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. The retail are the best thing to teach them on.
That's amazing.
Because you got all three trades. It's a simple, small job. Everyone sees the Popeyes. Everyone's inside.
Sure.
We were just talking. I just hired an intern from Widener University. And she was amazed on just, Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, that's near our college. Yes, because we did that one.
That's right.
It's right next to a Rita's. I did that one as well.
That's amazing.
So it's kind of cool, but I just trained them to go, from nothing.
Sure.
Sorry, I don't want to say nothing, but from something
Absolutely.
what they have no idea about. Yes, they're college graduates, or they went to college, or going to college, but now I'm going to train them all the trades.
That's great. So your past experience was able to help you.
Yes.
With present and future.
Exactly.
Growth.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, and that's my goal, to get these guys,
Bring 'em up.
to the next level.
Yeah, that's why I say to everybody, number one, you have to have a dream so big that everyone fits in it.
Yes.
Number two, you got to be able to coach everyone up
Yep.
to get to your level or better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This way it helps you.
I have no problem with them being better than me. I want them to be.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I teach them is you only learn from your failures, not your successes.
I love that. That's a great quote.
I said, you'll figure out how to do it better when you make a mistake.
Oh yeah, on your own. Sometimes.
On your own.
Sometimes you can be on your own. You got to
That's
learn
it.
some of the things on your own
Yep.
and go out there and do
Exactly.
it. So now, I guess for future kids growing up, wanting to get into the engineering space, architectural space, what would be your advice to them going into the future now? What do you think they should do to be able to learn?
Be a sponge. I mean, that's what I started off at. I just wanted to learn. I was inspired by, how is this made? How do you do this? How does this work? I was always a kid, and sometimes you just can't learn it. It's sometimes built in you,
It's in you.
And I think you
yeah.
probably had that same skill set. It's like something you always wanted. How do I do this? How do I
yeah.
make this? I was tearing apart toasters when I was 10 years old. It's just
I was
like,
doing the same type of thing.
it's just, how does this work?
How do you do
Exactly.
that? Yeah, absolutely.
And I just encourage you, follow your passion.
Sure.
If you really go for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I highly recommend engineering because I think it's a great skill set. It's a valued product.
Absolutely.
But it's just something there is no really limit to it. You could do whatever you want. And the
Absolutely.
colleges teach you a little bit, but when you get out there and you actually do it, it's
Yeah, I
extra
think
struggle.
college teaches you, how to learn, how to study,
Yeah.
how to get there. But as far as like the business aspect or on-the-job training, it's totally different.
It's totally, yeah.
So it's just once you get to your final destination or your first destination, I take everything as like a stepping stone.
Yes.
And take everything, the positivity out of everything, build that up, and as that amplifies, all of a sudden you have something.
Yeah, exactly.
And, kind of take it from there.
Yeah.
So now I think what I want you to do is let's give us a tour real quick.
Yeah.
Of your space and maybe talk a little bit about some of the construction stuff, and then you had an interior designer. Let's talk about her if you have a second.
Yeah.
You said she came in here, picked all the colors out, and helped you with some of that.
So what I had we had this interior designer my wife found. She's out of Pittman. And to do our house, to kind of help her along with the house, to get the house designed to looking beautiful, which it came out phenomenal. So we got to this point here, and I was trying to pick out the colors. And I knew kind of what I wanted, and my wife was okay with it. She was fine. She was like, yeah, I like that, I like this. but I couldn't get the final decision made. So I'm like, all right, I need someone in here professional. So with the architect base, I know I was asking, but most of my architects are out of North Jersey, Central Jersey. For them to recommend any kind of, interior designer was doable because I knew a couple of them.
Right.
But I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to my roots. Let me pull the one in who helped me with the house. I said, she wasn't commercial based, but I'm picking colors. I mean, I wanted the space to be more of a home than a commercial. You'll see with the way I laid things out, it's not a commercial space.
You nailed it on the design. It really does feel homey, but it has like high-end accents.
Exactly.
And you could walk into any room and go, wow, they really thought every little thing out.
Exactly. I laid this out myself. Again, I'm an engineer. I have no architectural skills whatsoever. But I have a bunch of architects I relied on. Hey, help me here, help me there. And I got to a point to where, all right, this is what I want. Because it was all came from the gut. That's what it does.
Sure.
So, but I needed a final step to get the final look. So let me get the interior designer. So Bell Interiors, Connie was phenomenal. So she came in, she's like, yep, let's go through. She walked in space, the place was almost empty. She was like a little premature. I'm like, that's okay. I just want to get a feel for the space.
Sure.
And we walked through the process we went through. So she helped with the colors, where she wanted to go. She gave me a whole color palette. I knew what I wanted. Blues and grays was my accent.
Right.
And she ran off of that.
Oh, yeah.
So we just kind of walked through and she, all right, we went with that color there, this color here, and here we are.
That's great.